All right, on the line, I can see that I've got B Nguyen on the line. B, thank you so much for chatting. How are you going today?
Hello, Ryan. Good so far.
So far, that's good. I'm gonna just come to I think the big question that everyone is asking is how is your knee and has it recovered since you had to sadly leave the show?
My knee, as far as being injured, has recovered, yeah, but I'm still spending time strengthening it up. I had a fight right after the island, so I've stressed it out with that also. So right now, I'm just taking a break and trying to really strengthen my knee back up.
How severe was the injury, and when exactly did you injure it?
In the last challenge that you saw that I was in, I injured it in the beginning, going through the poles, trying to unwind myself from the rope. I knew something happened because when I stood up, it was really unstable and painful. When we got to the puzzle piece, you could see me crouched down because at that point I was like, something is wrong.
Yeah.
I torn that MCL before, so as soon as it happened, I recognized it and I was like, oh no, no, not this knee. And yeah, and I got checked out by medics afterwards.
Oh, that's hard. Obviously, you mentioned there that you had to recover. How long was that process? And you said you had a fight as well. When was that fight?
I spent a month in therapy with my doctor, and let's see, I just fought in July, so a couple months after.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think that quantifies that question that you had to make for yourself. Are you willing to keep yourself in this game, or do you feel like you need to look for yourself long term and your actual career? How difficult was that decision to quit the game? Jeff really emphasized that this wasn't a medical evacuation. You were able
Yeah,
to continue this game, but you had to make that decision
yeah.
to leave.
I really hate that it was phrased like that because I really
Yeah.
think that my injury really forced me out of the game. It was such a tough situation. I needed to I wanted to stay for my tribe. I wanted to stay for myself and my game because I thought I was in a good position and I thought I was doing well. I Everything in me wanted to stay, but I knew my knee was on the verge of tearing. It's happened before. I recognized it, and at the end of the day, I needed to be mature enough and responsible enough to tell myself your wants versus your needs. And what I needed to do was rest that knee because if I injured that knee there, one, my journey would end anyway, and two, my career could end as well.
Yeah, it's a really tricky position that a lot of people find themselves in out there is making that huge decision. You had to make it, which honestly, B, I don't envy that position you were put in. You mentioned there that you thought you were in a good position. Obviously, after the first vote, you lost Jessica, who seemed to be someone you were incredibly close with. How do you feel like you're recovering since that vote? And who were the people that you felt like you had and were working with?
I think I recovered well. I don't think that I lost an ally, yes, but I had a lot of relationships in the game and I had a lot of game to play. So I was an asset at the time, a physical asset at camp as well as in the challenges. So I was prepared to fight. I was prepared. I was starting the gun for Gabby, and yeah, like I said, I'm just upset that I wasn't able to follow through or with my moves and with my game. But also, I think that this is what was hard about the decision as well, and I'm glad that I've had such support and good feedback for my decision because although people have been injured in the game before, if they've worked in different jobs to where if they should play until their knee fell off and they
Yeah.
would still have their job. This was a difficult decision for me because this was my life, and I was so scared that people wouldn't understand and wouldn't empathize with me and wouldn't relate to me because I know that they would have played till the knee fell off, but I couldn't go back to a cubicle or a desk afterwards. The ring was my only job, and I couldn't recover if I tore my knee.
Yeah, I think just it's really interesting you say it and you phrase it like that. I think even as a show and as viewers of the show, we have evolved. Even Jeff, in terms of people leaving this game. Originally, back 18 years ago, it used to be seen as something quite negative to leave. But I think that giving people ownership of their decisions is something that we're seeing throughout. You mentioned there Gabby as well, someone who you seem to be in an alliance with Jess. My exit chat with her. How blindsided were you by her decision to go against you girls early in the game?
In the moment, super blindsided. I was upset because we had decided on Lyrsa for a long time, and we reassured, but and this is why you saw that scene where I was vague. We were vague with Gabby, but what you didn't see was we have reassured it plenty of times before.
Yeah.
My mistake is, though, there's different people and different ways to deal with people. Gabby needed more reassurance, and I wasn't there as an ally to do that for her. I kind of was like, okay, we've decided already, like, this is it, and that was my mistake. My mistake was, like, not realizing that Gabby needed more. And when she got paranoid, everything went to hell.
Can you talk about the other people that you're working in relationship with as well? I know that talking to Jessica, she said she was targeted because she was kind of seen as the glue between maybe yourself and Carl. What was your relationship like with Carl?
I had my own connection with Carl. Carl and I confided in each other when we were upset. We confided in each other a lot. We had a connection. I don't think that Jessica was the glue. I just think that we were all just so like-minded. We happened to have bonded with the same people. But I had my own relationship with Carl, and I had a lot of other relationships that you didn't see. Right off the bat, I made a lot of good relationships. I just didn't make any, I didn't feel like it was a need to make any big moves yet, but I had a lot of relationships on the island.
I know, listening to Josh Wigler in First One Out, that Survivor was a new thing for you, B, and you had been cramming, some of the most recent seasons as well before playing. Obviously, your season in particular, it was crazy for the weather out there. It was one of the hardest in terms of conditions that we've seen nearly ever. What were your expectations coming in, and what changed when you reached the island?
I crammed some seasons, and the seasons I crammed were sunny. The seasons I crammed were sunny, okay? And yeah. I didn't really have much time to think about it, to be honest. I was just ready for the challenge, and it hit. Even the super fans, okay? I was on the island with incredibly intelligent super fans, and they couldn't have anticipated what we went through. You saw a glimpse of it, but it was terrible. And I had just gone through Harvey in Houston. We had a huge flood for weeks before that, and it was nothing like being out in the element, surviving on your own with no help, and then getting a storm. It was just, I would say, because I don't know the show much, I didn't anticipate it, but that's not a true depiction of it. I think everybody, super fans who've seen every single episode 5 times, 10 times over, could have never, ever expected the weather that we had.
No, I don't think anyone could, to be honest, B. That was honestly crazy. Survivor is a game at its core, but it's also a huge social experiment. And I think, especially those conditions that you were under, you definitely learn a lot about yourself. Leaving Survivor, I guess, what is the big thing that you maybe learned about yourself that you didn't know before playing?
I didn't know how comfortable I was alone. And I have been put in a lot of social situations, but being on an island and living with these people, and then being stressed out, and then being hurt, and then opening up in all these deep stories, I never anticipated bonding with these people this much.
Yeah.
I genuinely bonded with them. That's one thing I didn't expect. You go into the game and you're like, I'm gonna play like I like these people, then I'm gonna play them. I'm gonna play them when I need them, and then you don't realize. I think I'm kind of thankful for the weather, because that's what I think we might have bonded, but more than any other season so early in.
Yeah.
Because tragedy makes you bond, and I think so. To answer your question, I didn't realize how close I am to people. I didn't realize that I don't really let people in, and the show has taught me, especially with all these misfits and weirdos, including me, that we would have never hung out with each other had Jeff not thrown us on an island. And I need to learn to open myself up to people more.
B, thank you so much for chatting to me today. I really appreciate your honesty, especially in that question there. And I hope the experience wasn't too bad and you've enjoyed the show as it was. And thank you so much for chatting today.
Thank you. I am. Can wait? Let me just earn my. I won't say I'm a super fan yet, because I got to earn it. But can I just say, this whole experience and watching the show again, watching it back, I'm just a huge fan now. It's an incredible show, incredible journey, and thank you for your time.
No problem. Enjoy catching up on 37 seasons of Survivor.